What's up, you dead nerds? Today we're doing a little something different. We're going to be doing, she's going to be painting my face like Jack Skellington as our opener, and then I'm going to do the movie review as Jack. No, we're not doing Nightmare Before Christmas again. That was yesterday's video. But we both really like the movie, and she wants to see if she can do a good Jack Skellington on this mug.
Yeah, I've always been like super interested in Halloween makeup, like watching Nicole Guerrero, her Halloween videos especially. Just think it's super cool. So we got a cheap little makeup kit from Target. So we're just using like simple, like the cream, what you can buy basically at Spirit Halloween, that kind of stuff. See what we can do with it.
If you guys enjoy this video, we can try to do slightly more advanced stuff like this as we go, but we're going to start with something simple. We're going to do Jack today, and we'll see how it goes. So let's get this underway. I'm going to pull up a reference so she can keep seeing. Alright, we're back. Yep, so we got the really cheap makeup over at Target. It's like $1. But I think she did a pretty good job for only being like $1 makeup.
It's really hard to work with, so
it looks pretty good, in my opinion. I just love my face being painted though, personally. Alright, so today's movie we watched was
Uncanny Annie.
Uncanny Annie. So our first impression, well, at least mine, was I'm pretty sure this movie was like, what if Jumanji was a horror movie? What do you think?
Yeah, which I thought like Jumanji's already pretty scary.
The original.
Yeah.
The next one, or the video game one? Have you seen that one with The Rock?
No, I just watched the original one, and the original one was scary.
Parts of it were thrilling for children, sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like scary for adults if you rewatch it. But yeah, as a kid, I remember watching it and be like, "Oh my God, they're gonna die!" Like,
I just meant like games, stuff like that, where they get stuck in like board games. Because we watched, remember like the video, remember that way back we watched that one movie where they had the VHS
video game.
tapes? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got like
That was a
stuck
good
in
movie.
that world. They kind of freaked me out. Like it wasn't scary. For like not the scariest movie I've ever watched. It just kind of
Freak you out.
the fact that they're stuck freaks me out.
Being stuck in another dimension.
Yeah. Like in that box.
Yeah. So yeah, for what it was, the first impression was pretty good. It was a lot better than I expected. Let me be honest with you. My
We've watched
expectations
some
were
pretty like shitty
Hulu originals.
Hulu originals. That one was actually pretty good.
This is a Hulu original. It's Uncanny Annie. It's part of the
Oops.
Left in the Dark, or what was it? Into the Darkness, or Into the Dark. They call it a TV series, but it's a movie series made by people who do Into the Dark, I guess. Like all of them have different actors, all of them have different characters. The only one that I've seen is the same so far. It's Puka. There's 2 Puka movies, and we've done both those. But apart from that, for what it was, unbelievably good for a Hulu original movie. You know?
Yeah, this one where normally my biggest complaint with movies, because like he's been reviewing them, but I've been also watching them with him. I just haven't been in front of the camera. Is like they move really slow, the flow is off, like the characters are super awkward. I thought they all did a really good job.
Yeah, they did great this movie. So that brings us to our next point. Was the movie horror-tastic? I'm gonna give it a big yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I judge horror movies. It's hard for me to watch a horror movie alone, for the fact that I can't judge everything based solely off myself. So for instance, I like to watch them with her, so that way, you know, if she's getting scared or getting nervous or tense or anything, I can know, you know, like, oh, this is good, this is thrilling, this is something. Because I'm kind of aloof for a lot of it. Jump scares will sometimes get me, but not a whole heck of a lot. It's like 1 in 10 good jump scares gets me.
Yeah.
So I really need that other person there for that tense, you know, play through it. I can know when the music's going, like, okay, this is a tense scene and stuff. But to really judge it as like, was this actually scary? I need someone else there. Cause I don't know. I already have my nightmares. These movies ain't gonna give them to me. How about you? Do you think it was horror-tastic?
Mm-hmm.
Does it hit all the points? Does it hit the blood and gore?
Yeah, it did.
Was it overly bloody and
No,
gory?
it wasn't. It wasn't overly
It wasn't
blood and
at all.
gory. I think that one scene where the girl got her neck cut
Was the most
the most gory, that's kind of where I top off at. I don't like when it gets like
overly gory.
overly gory, because then I'm just like I don't want to watch
I
it.
feel like a lot of horror movies have overplayed the blood and guts to where it's like,
then it almost
it's like
when they do that,
it's
it
just
almost
a masochist movie. It's not a horror movie.
it almost feels like that Adam Sandler movie we watch, where it's like a spoof kind of movie. And I'm like, okay, well, this is like now going from like this is a horror movie to this is really cheesy.
I said this during the Chucky movie, the newest Child's Play that I watched. That's one of the few movies I've watched alone so far. That's the only movie I've watched alone so far. That movie did the blood and guts horror really well because it didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
And this movie also did, you know, it's secondary. It's there, it works, but it's all secondary. It's just there to show that someone's dead or someone's hurt.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is needed in a horror movie. You know, the tenseness, it builds up that tension more.
Yeah.
Where if you're just like focused on it, because like even for someone who's deathly afraid of overly
Like I have
amounts of
I
blood
have
and guts.
like a blood phobia.
If you just focus on like someone's blown up brain for like 5 seconds too long, it stops being scary even for people like that are scared of blood.
If their death like lasts longer than like 10 or 15 seconds, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, all the fear's gone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just blood now.
I
it's just red
also
liquids at that point.
I also like spoiler, everyone in this movie dies. There are no survivors. Each one of them like didn't die like in the same way. I don't know
No,
what
yeah,
I'm
they
trying
all
to say.
died differently.
They all didn't die
We're
super
gonna get back
gory.
to that though. We're gonna do that towards the end when we're wrapping up this. But yeah, that's true. Not everyone did, or everyone did die.
But not all of them died in a super gory way.
No, no one died in a super gory way, and no one died the same way. No one died. You know, it was all very specific to each character, which was pretty nice. Now, did it do jump scares well? That's a part of being a horror movie.
I think it could have played up the jump scares more. Like they did that, like that hide and seek scene. I think they could have played up jump scares. Like that movie, like it built a lot of tension, and I felt like that they could have.
They like let you down.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing. The jump scares are there. There are not that many, surprisingly, in a movie like this. You expect more jump scares.
Yeah, because they had the setting. The setting was all there. Like the foundation was laid. They just didn't.
Yeah, they didn't give us any of the jump scares. Oh, they did set it up for a sequel. We'll get back to that. The best jump scare though in the movie is at the end of the movie with Annie, when she just appears out of nowhere and they both stand up and they have to make the wager.
Yeah.
That's the best jump scare. So yeah, if you watch this movie, you're gonna get the like tension, the tense, like music's great. The music flows well with the movie for what it needs to be. The jump scares, you're gonna see some of them coming, not all of them, but the ending one might get you. And the very ending one, the one that is played out trope now for jump scares, where it's like the movie's over and the screen comes back on and jump scares you. That's so cheese now, and everyone's doing it. Oof, poor Blue. Another good staple for something being horror. The villain, the bad guy, the anti-hero, all that bad stuff. What was it set up well in this movie? I think it was. I think Annie and the board game make a good villain for the plot that they put in.
Yeah, and then the way that they did this, like the dark past with all of them, you kind of start feeling like some of what you thought was the protagonists are also like, I guess,
vilified.
Vilified, yeah.
They're very vilified towards the end. So yeah, it hits all the marks for horror movie. It at least the minimum marks for all of it. So we're gonna say this movie is very horror-tastic. All right, so what was wrong with the movie? There's not a whole lot to complain about, in my opinion. Again, my expectations were set very low because we've been watching a lot of the Hulu exclusives. The Hulu, what are they calling it? Halloween now?
Every time I watch a Hulu movie, all I think of is like Puka, and those are like my expectations. So anything like above Puka and the Puka Christmas, like
skyrockets. Yeah, this movie, it plays out like a regular horror movie, like a movie that should have been in theaters. The acting's there, the writing's there. There's only a few parts that I can like roll my eyes at where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great line to say for someone, like that's normal human speech. Like there's not many of them, which is nice for what it is, because most Hulu movies so far that we've watched have been like, this is how not to act like a human person. Like, fucking aliens watch these movies, they're gonna be like, this is how they talk to each other? Like,
this is how they're being cultured.
Yeah. So this movie doesn't do that whole lot. It's only like 2 or 3 times where it's like cringy, but it's not bad. It's easy to get over because they're really short scenes. I didn't like Death and his like baseball bat nail thing. I wasn't a big fan of that. Like, if he's supposed to be Death, give him a scythe or something. Something like scary.
what do you call it? Like a
He's
Reaper, the
yeah,
Grim
he's
Reaper.
death.
Yeah.
Well, he's just death. That's what they call him in the movie. Death. Like that's his whole shtick.
Yeah.
He like carries around a baseball bat with a fat nail through it. Like, sure, it's scary and it's like, it's not a great weapon to get killed by, but it's not death. Like
I think they could have made him spookier. I'm thinking more they could have gone into like The Conjuring, The Nun kind of vibes. Like if we were, because his face was just, everything was black. He was just like a shadowy figure.
Well, yeah, I think they did good with him. I think what pulled you away from him being a scary person was his weapon.
Yeah.
Because like, I think they did the effects on him with the little mistiness where
he floats.
Yeah, he like floats and like phases through, the air. He can't like phase through walls or anything, but he like phases through the air. I think they did those effects really well. It's just like you see him carrying this bat with a nail, and you're like, it's so scary. Yeah, I don't know. That's just me personally.
You're being a little nitpicky with it.
No, well, that every time I saw him, like he shows up like three times in the movie, and like every time I saw him, like that's awesome, and then it's like, oh, your weapon. Like it kind of just pulls me away from how scary he is.
Yeah.
Personally, like, can you imagine trying to kill someone in a bathtub with that thing? Come here. Like, I don't know. Can you think of anything else wrong with the movie?
I don't think so, honestly. I'd have to kind of let it stew for a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of the times the movies you can pick out what's bad with the movie right away. So that's good with this one, that it's hard to pick things out. I'm constantly thinking about, like, while I'm watching the movie, like, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. And I don't have that many complaints. I normally am a stickler with the acting. The acting is not bad. It was a little, they were good actors. One of the leads was a weird choice. He looked way too young for his role.
Yeah, I think he just had a baby face though.
Yeah, he was straight up baby face.
Yeah.
So that kind of took me out of, like, I don't know how to put this, but it like took me away from him being like a grown up and having grown up problems with his like baby ass face. Like, oh no, your ex-girlfriend's here. You're 12.
Not like 12. It's dramatic. He just looked like he was in high school still. He was a college kid.
Yeah, they're all supposed to be over 21 or something.
They killed all the guys first, and then they killed off all the girls.
Yep. One of the girls died before all the guys were dead, right? No, there's only 3 girls. There was only 3 girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But never mind. Right. Favorite character, favorite scene. Go.
Oh man, I was relying on you to go first.
Okay. My favorite character is the prankster, the trickster. In the movie, he's this entity, much like Death, who is summoned by the box and Uncanny Annie to play tricks on you when you pull his card. He's my favorite character because I think whoever's playing him is doing a good job of being creepy and kooky and silly and annoying and a trickster, like a trickster god, like what you think of as Loki and stuff.
Silly, but still really spooky.
Yes, silly, spooky, scary. Like he's legit a murderous trickster god, which is awesome. However, my favorite scene is a different story. I don't think any of my favorite scenes were with him in it. He was just fun to see him when he came on the screen. Do you have a favorite character while I think about my favorite scene?
Grace, the prom queen.
Grace, the prom queen. Oh, the one who was playing like Carrie? Yeah. She was really good.
Grace. Yeah, she was pretty badass. Honestly, I thought she would be the surviving one, but they're all too.
Yeah, they killed her off sooner than I thought they were gonna.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna be second to last.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were gonna kill the cheerleader.
Yeah, I thought she would die in a more like heroic way.
Yeah.
I guess, but
the trickster god killed her, the prankster guy. What was your favorite scene? Do you have that right away? Do you know what scene really stood out to you as like a good one?
My favorite scene. Probably the scene where one of the characters, Eve, pulls a card that they want her to reveal her secrets.
They did a good acting in that scene.
Yeah, because then that's kind of when. Because it's almost like, because you were like, yeah, when you said she cheated, and then like the camera pans to Craig, like her ex-boyfriend, you're like, oh, she cheated on him. But then the next character pulls the card. It's the same card, like, what's your secret? Like, you have to tell. And then you kind of connect the dots, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, they cheated with each other.
They cheated with each other.
Spoilers. Yeah, so that scene really shows how decent the acting is by the actors, because that scene could have fallen flat so hard because it's literally just music and their acting. That's the whole scene, like the tension music, which is just background noise. It's there for a reason and it needs to be there, but it wasn't like as intense as a chase scene would be.
Yeah.
And their acting, that's all that was there. There was no, other people, no trickster god, no death, no Annie. It was just, that you don't know what the consequence is going to be. Just tell you the truth about the questions.
Yeah, they built the tension with it. I thought they did really good. It kept my attention. This whole movie actually kept my attention, where I didn't feel like I was thinking to myself, oh my god, when is this over? Like, how many more minutes? Which I do with a lot of the movies that we watch.
Yeah, she doesn't like a lot of cheesy movies. She gets tired. Like, every fifth or sixth movie, we have to watch a real scary movie that isn't cheesy, so that way
it's exhausting to watch terrible movies over and over again.
Favorite scene, though, I think my favorite scene is the opening scene, because it's so dumb and it doesn't really fit with anything else other than the fact of two of the players' costumes, two of the characters' costumes only fit because of what they're doing. So at the opening scene, and I don't understand why they didn't just do this the whole movie, but they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. And I love Dungeons and Dragons. Anyone who knows me knows that. I love playing it. And I don't know why this whole movie, they couldn't have just been sucked into D&D world and met a witch, But instead they play a different board game, Uncanny Annie. Whatever. It doesn't make any sense. It's like the only scene that's and two of their friends leave, and that, I don't know, it's cheese.
It could have all been avoided if they just had played D&D or Cards Against Humanity.
They didn't have Cards Against Humanity.
Someone had brought Cards Against
Humanity. They had
D&D
right there. They were like, what game are we gonna play? It takes all day long to play. You can play D&D for a week straight without sleeping and still not get done with a full campaign. I don't know. It's out of place for sure, other than to show that, oh, these guys are nerds and the other guy's a jock. It's kind of stereotypical.
Yeah, they did do a little stereotyping there.
It's whatever.
But then they kind of avoided it the rest of the movie. There wasn't he's a jock and she's popular. They didn't really play into that.
No, because it's all one friend group.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't play into it too hard, because, if she's the popular one in the same friend group as everyone, that doesn't make any sense. Then they're all popular.
Yeah.
It's just out of place. It's only there for you to know, okay, this kid's a nerd. This kid is a jock. This kid is something else. It's silly and it's really short, but I think that's my favorite scene in the movie. Now, before we do our rating, I want to get back to, this movie does kill everyone who plays the game. Not all horror movies kill all the main characters in the, unless you're gonna have a sequel. That's what it's for, but even then, you still leave one person alive to make the sequel about. You know what I mean?
But maybe someone's gonna play the game and
I figured it out.
Rescue them all?
No, I figured it out. No, because the way they ended it was trash.
Everyone
dies.
Are they all legit dead though?
No, yeah, they're all dead. So, okay. I figured it out. It took me while we were explaining it earlier to figure it out. So, the only way for her to keep killing people is by playing that game, right? Someone has to pick up the game and be like, oh, this looks silly, let's play this.
And start playing it.
It's going to be the next movie is going to be the exact same premise. Whatever. But to get there, you have to have someone get the game. But if everyone's dead, no one can get the game. The game would go in evidence because it's a giant murder house. Like, everyone in the house is either dead or disappeared or something's wrong or something happened, right?
Yeah.
Now, go back to the beginning of the movie. 2 of the roommates left. Said
Yes.
they'd come back.
Yes.
That's what the sequel will be. Them 2. I forgot about them. So there's 2 people that do get to live, but they don't play the game throughout the movie. And it's really easy to forget about them because they're only there to say that they're nerds and they play D&D, and then they're like, oh, we have a college party to go to, and they leave. So hey, we might get a sequel. That's something.
Maybe. That's exciting.
I was really hoping they would come back. Like, one of them, like the whole movie, that's one thing that was in my brain. Like, all right, they're gonna come knock on the door eventually.
I thought that Wendy was gonna survive, honestly, and get out of it.
That was my only thing. I thought them 2 would come back, and something would happen. They get pulled in the game or something. No, they never came back. Nothing happened. Rating. We're gonna rate this movie 1 to 5. Spooky, spooky, spooky. What would you rate it?
Considering it's on Hulu
Yes, it's on Hulu.
and it's free, and most of
You
the
have to pay for
Hulu
Hulu.
movies we've been watching have been a little. I'm gonna do 4 out of 5. I thought that's a movie that I would go watch in the theaters.
Yeah, I 100% thought this would have been a movie theater.
That they picked a really good cast, I thought.
And good writers. Finally.
Yeah,
Like a lot.
Finally a good flow.
Yeah, everything fit with this movie. I also am gonna give it a 4 out of 5. So that's our rating. 4 out of 5 spooky spooks for this movie, Uncanny Annie. So with that being said, we suggest you go see it as long as you got Hulu, or if you happen to pick up Hulu and you want something to watch, go watch that. Go watch Uncanny Annie. It's worth at least the one watch. It's got funny parts, it's got silly parts, but it's not a cheesy horror movie like a lot of other Hulu movies. Hulu original horror movies.
Halloween movies.
Halloween. It's from the second one. Right, squad. Love you guys. Don't forget, hit that like button down there. Comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this movie or this review or anything else, even the makeup. If you want us to do this again, please tell us. We'll do this as much as you guys want. We have to get more paint though. And
Maybe
it's
we'll
good practice for her. And if she does enough, we'll buy good paint and then we'll really check it out. Right, squad. I love you guys. Peace out.
Peace out.